welcome to my Voluptuous life with Wawa, liberating raw and unfiltered views and opinions. But tonight it's gonna be an exciting night because I have a confession to make. I was supposed to have somebody here last time, but for some extraordinary reason, which we're gonna talk about the rest of the evening, watch out for my guest. He's one budding extraordinary politician, soon to be bachelor? Let me ask him. Anyway, tonight, before anything else, we'll talk about the effects of divorce. What are the negative effects on children, and how is it, what is the most painful, probably, negative after effect, or the journey of someone who has gone through a divorce, and could it be something that could be positive too in the end? That's something we could discuss along the way. So let's talk about that, for that matter. And I welcome you to say a little bit of anything, what you want is about this topic tonight. And of course, be ready for that special guest of mine. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting topics tonight about divorce, along with it, the effects of it, what are far more deeper issues that can surround it. And we'll go political tonight. We will interview this guy who's going to be running for office for one of the most sought after positions in Las Vegas. And like what I said, let's talk about some interesting, after effects of divorce. Well, I don't want to say that I'm lucky, and each of us have our own stories. And if you're one person that is affected or was affected with that divorce, show us your story and tell us your story. You can actually give me some comments online, what you want to say about it, if you want to discuss anything about it as well. So what could be one of the most negative effects of divorce? They say anxiety, it creates a lot of depression, and it creates a lot of questions. It creates a lot of emptiness, sometimes, and brokenness. Looking at a person who has been separated from a parent, a mother, or even a father, it doesn't even matter anymore if it's a male figure or a female figure, but that effect of divorce, of separation, could actually break more than 50% of a person's individuality, like, for that matter. And something else, they said that divorce can also sometimes hinder you to grow up normally in a way, but not all. I don't want to be misquoted. So not all that goes through divorce has a negative effect. Some actually has turned their life around, and right now are advocates of people who wanted to get out of that bad experience of being a product of divorce. So I'm just giving you a little bit of introduction, because after I come back from my segment 2, I'll be introducing you to my special guest, and that would be Michael Lee McDonald. See you in the next segment of My Voluptuous Life with Wawa.
Listen, check it. Try to feel a bridge, instead I burned it down. I tried to lift them up, but found me beaten down to the ground. I was too weak to face my pain, caught up in the flood that was my rain. We both moved on, but my heart remains there. Oh, what I put you through.
Social media shows
is about
branding, opportunity,
and outreach.
We are an entertainment company that empowers others
by promoting and supporting our community
and everyone who reaches our content.
Here on social media shows,
we're a family.
We are family. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, sign. We are family.
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 We are family, and we want you to be part of our social media shows family.
Hi, my name is Dawn Weir. I'm the founder of The Giving Water, a local nonprofit that delivers water to disasters and people in need. I am excited about empowering women for so many different reasons, but most of all, to make women stronger and love themselves more. Because when you love yourself, it's easier for someone else to love you more. So watch Honeybees Women Empowerment every Tuesday at 3 p.m. right here.
Welcome back to my Voluptuous life. Wow, you finally made it, huh? Just kidding. This is my special guest, ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the one who missed the interview last week, and we will tell you all about that in a few seconds. Why are you quiet? You're guilty.
Yeah,
huh?
no, for sure. I'm sorry, I know, I missed out.
Oh my goodness. So we were talking about divorce and all this stuff, but actually my main story for tonight is Mr. Michael Lee McDonald. He is not Michael J. McDonald, but Michael Lee McDonald. Ladies and gentlemen, who is he anyway? So he's a law student, he is a technologist, an activist, a politician, a family law reformer, and a loving father of 2 kids. So why didn't you confess to me what happened to you last week? He was supposed to be with me in this show last week, and for some brave reason, I was like, where is he? I mean, I cooked dinner and everything, and we prepared everything for him, and boom, there was no text messages, there was no calls at all. Mike, you are a very, very interesting guy.
So we're gonna start off right with that, huh?
Yeah, that's right away. That's it. That's how raw and unfiltered my show is. So, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, I was actually put in jail, and on Thursday. So Thursday night, after getting after work, I got 8 officers came and arrested me for wiretapping charges. So I don't think I have no clue what they're trying to arrest me for. But
wow, that was one hell of a story.
So I think they're trying to arrest me for political reasons, but
well, don't arrest my guest yet, because I'm about to talk to him, and about to talk and tell everybody who is he and what is he I'm going to be in for the next couple of months and years, you know. So he's actually a good friend of mine, but Michael is actually a Vegas-born kid in Sunrise Hospital.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
born in '83, long time.
1983, and that's like make you 37 years old?
34.
38. What? Way younger. Okay.
Yeah.
And Michael is
The white
also...
hair is deceiving me a little bit.
That's
so,
it? So we were talking about divorce, and I don't want to really sound so dramatic about it, but you were actually also a product of divorce, when you know?
Yeah, so when I was 5 years old, I was alienated from my father. He was smoking marijuana and stuff, and my mom said, "Oh, you're a drug addict," and yeah, I only saw him a handful of times growing up. You know.
How many siblings do you have?
I had 3 brothers, and then I've got a half brother and a half sister.
Were you separated as kids, or you didn't grow up with them? You were together?
No, my 2 brothers, we went out to Missouri when I was 5. So yeah, after.
So mom's from Missouri.
No, she was born in Arizona, but raised in Vegas most of her life.
Well, so where's Missouri at? Who's from Missouri?
My grandparents were living out there at the time. Yeah, and then we lived on an 80-acre farm. We had every kind of animal and 3 barns. It was a pretty interesting experience. So.
There's a story that said that when you're born with your grandfather and grandmother, that shows a lot of like character growth in there. Do you think that your influences also came from your grandparents?
Oh yeah, no, I'm very thankful to have good grandparents, and even my stepdad's grandparents. They practically raised us, and we go out to Duck Creek and go on trips all the time. My grandpa was a really influential guy. He went to he worked at Los Alamos and the test site, and he did all the nuclear experiments. He's one of the first ones that came up with the depleted uranium shell, and I did the testing on that, and did a bunch of nuclear explosions up at the Nevada test site. He's actually a painter now, and in his retirement, and he's got a painting over at the Atomic Testing Museum too. So.
Do you think you were very, very lucky as a kid? You grew up in the rich and famous, or just middle class family?
No, it was like middle class. Yeah, middle class.
Were you the eldest, or were you the middle child? Or?
I was the oldest. Yeah, I was the oldest in my family.
How was Michael as a kid? Was he a troublesome kid, a good kid?
No, I was a very good kid. I followed all the rules. I did everything to make my mom happy, you know, and just I was in charge of disciplining my brothers and keeping them in line. I was the oldest, and just we used to live out on the farm. I'd be taking care of all the sheep, so I was a shepherd.
Wow, you were like
we had about 60 sheep. I'll have to tell you.
I've never met someone like you who's domesticated like that. I came from. I always think of Americans to be just living in the city. I mean, I haven't met someone like you, like who live actually in suburbs or like in the farmers area or something.
We were cowboys. We had we broke horses, and we had a bunch of horses. And I remember I had a horse named Lightning, and you put it in one part of the yard, it would mow the whole lawn, and it was a really interesting life. A bunch of little pigs that followed me around like little dogs, you know. And it's a good life. Yeah, we go hunting and go.
My only recollection of that kind of life is the little house of prairie,
It was kind of like that. It was actually we went on a field trip to Laura Eagles Wilder's house.
I always watched that show before. It's very interesting at that.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit curious. What made you go back to Vegas at 13? Was it mom's decision, dad's decision?
So yeah, it was my mom. I guess you don't make much money being a farmer, so we came back to Vegas. And
what was mom like? Was she in a career?
She was pretty much a veterinarian growing up, and then.
So you grew up in professional background, right?
Pretty much, yeah. My mom was. I mean, she's into a little bit of everything, and and we came back out here. My mom married my stepdad. He was a military officer, and
was he good to you as a stepfather?
He was pretty good. He treated me and my brothers like his little soldiers.
That's
you know what
nice.
I mean? So
very good.
his name is Major Cox. So.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still
that's
alive.
good.
Yeah.
And you're still in contact with him.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
That's so nice. All right, so Vegas. How was it different from living in Missouri and Las Vegas? Was there a culture shock or some sort from a 13-year-old kid moving to a big city?
Well, Missouri is kind of like Missouri in some way, especially in the wintertime. It's really you have a lot of snow. You come out here, there's no snow. I mean, unless you go to Mount Charleston. But I do like Vegas. There's a little bit of everything out here.
At 13 years old, what year was that? What year was that in Vegas?
I don't recall. I think it was around. Was it 93, 95? I came back. So
do you remember those old casinos at that time that was there?
Yeah, they started blowing them up around the time I came back. So yeah.
Okay, so I was was wondering, wow, at that time now it's like 2018. That must be a real difference from like living in the city in Las Vegas at the time.
A lot's changed. I mean, my mom used to live out there in the desert area. There was nothing out there, and she'd just walk around the desert all the time and be out there. Now it's all houses and developments.
And I see that you are so very competent in mathematics and science. Was that your favorite subject?
That was, yeah, actually, yeah.
Were you in was there such thing as a magnet school that time?
Yeah, I was going to go to the AMSAT program or the one over at Rancho to become they have a pilot program. So that's why I actually training to be go to the Air Force Academy.
Were you already enlisted at that time, or you were about to go to military or pilot school?
I did ROTC. I was a cadet major, and I trained at Camp Middleton as a double pup as a Marine, and then
What year was that?
Platoon leader. I think it was around '98. So.
So what war was then happening?
That was right when right before 9/11 happened and stuff. So it was like the Gulf War.
Wow,
a little bit earlier. My stepdad, I think, he did a lot of DEA stuff out here and stuff.
Which part of Vegas were you at that time? Which area?
Kind of by where Western High School's at. So
that's like kind of like in the Rancho area,
yeah,
kind of Bonanza kind of thing. Now you know that Western High School is a so-called a magnet school right now.
I don't.
Yeah, it is actually. My son was able to get in magnet for next year, but. The area is a little different now than probably before, huh?
Yeah, well, I wanted to go to Rancho, but it was on D Street. My mom wouldn't let me go because they had after you graduate, you have your pilot's license. So
what is this Devil Pups and Mu Alpha Theta, like a fraternity, sorority, whatever?
I did a bunch of clubs getting ready for the Air Force Academy. Like I did almost every club, National Honor Society. I did wrestling, football.
You were a wrestler?
I took third state. So yeah, I was was it 160s and 181? So I never
Did
got
you travel at the time?
I went to Rancho and Reno and California. Yeah.
So at high school, did you go into bachelorship, right? You did have that.
Those were my glory days. Like the high school was my glory days. I started going. I didn't end up going to the Air Force Academy. My eyes were bad, and I just started working. I was actually. Worked at Dell Computers when I was in 11th grade. So.
Are you kidding me? Oh my God!
Yeah,
you're a bit of a Doogie Houser here.
Yeah, I started. Well, I was working when I was 14 as a busboy. I did all these weddings and banquets and stuff over at Los Prados.
Were you consider yourself independent at that time in terms of finances, or they still give you allowances at that time, or you were on your own?
No, it was mostly on my. I was one of the first high school kids with his own vehicle and everything.
What was your first car?
Well, my very first car, it was my parents' Mach 3 Chevy van, and you could turn that into a bed back there, a TV and stuff. But I ended up buying a Jimmy, like a GMC Jimmy.
I wonder how Michael looks like when he was in high school. He was probably that debonair already, and like a lot of people are hovering around. It's like looking into his social life.
I had like 4% body fat. I was in great shape. Yeah, I had a 2-mile record at my school. So those were,
Were you normally dating at that time too? Or
no, I stayed away from dating. I was.
You were more of an academic kid, kind of nerdy, kind of.
Straight A's and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I stayed away from
trouble. Okay, let me see. So you were actually, like what you said, you were in jobs as early as that. And then what year can I move into the college life? Did you go into college or?
I went to. I started off at CSN and I went over to Reno. I also did the Boy State program in high school. That was one of my first. So we lived up in the dorms up there, and we got to meet mock legislators. I actually ran for a state senator, so I did pass mock legislation, get to sit in the same seats up in Carson.
Were you a politician / student politician when you were in high school, right?
Yeah, I was in National Honor Society. I held a couple.
Leadership was already there within your blood. You really are like kind of a person that would lead a pack of people or a pack of kids, like In
ROTC, I did the same thing. To make the kids do push-ups and stuff like that. And
my God! Were you competitive? Like you don't want to be a follower. You would rather be a leader.
Oh yeah, no. I did, like I said, I did a lot of sports and stuff, but those clubs were really where I got to learn a lot, and that Boy State, I was so happy, thankful to experience that, because now if I get elected to the legislature, I can actually, I have a good idea of what I'm doing. I've been up there before.
Talking about that, Michael is running actually as an assemblyman for District 20.
Yeah.
These districts really make me like dizzy or something.
Yeah, I don't know who mapped those out.
What are the districts? So what covers District 20?
So District 20 is kind of a weird looking, kind of looks like a snail a little or slug, I guess, because it's got like a T shape and
Do you
goes.
memorize the zip codes in that one, or just kind of
Yeah,
have an idea what it is?
89119, 89120, 89121. So it's over by Eastern and.
It's kind of Pecos Flamingo area.
Yeah, by UNLV, by the airport, kind of, and then going.
But that's central, like east side of town.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do we have some? I wanted to look at if we have some questions from our viewers on live.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I'm just welcoming everybody. We're going to be having 2 more segments. It's going to be more interesting after that. We're going to be talking about serious topics, like going back to how Michael got into jail and whatnot.
Oh, man.
I tell you, he looks like he's some kind of a good man, a goody, but he's going through a lot of like challenging issues, and that's why he's in politics right now, because he wanted to change a lot of the reforms and a lot of issues that are you don't know is happening.
I gotta tell you that story. Yeah,
wow.
it's
I mean, honestly, I'm not into too much politics, but when I came to know Michael, I've really learned a lot of ropes about it. So keep on sending your questions. We will be entertaining them after that, and we'll be talking more about his political life and his reforms and his battle for whatever it is, personal, and also for battling for you too as his constituents. Okay, so I'll be right back. We will be right back on the 3rd segment of My Voluptuous Live with Michael Lee McDonald.
All right, thank you.
Social media shows are looking for independent unsigned artists to show off to the world for a brand new show. So if you have a video ready to show, email us right now at darkmusictelevision@gmail.com. The video must be a quality of MP4, and we are accepting all genres: R&B, hip-hop, soul, blues, pop, country, rock, every and all types. So join us now and let us bring the world to you.
Hi, I'm Alicia, aka Catalina Winehouse with Ichigo. What I think about women empowerment is just like we have to empower women. Like no one else is gonna do it. Everyone else is against us, so we have to stick together and we have to believe in ourselves, and that's what we're here to do. Watch us live on Tuesdays at 3 on the Honeybees Women Empowerment Show.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now.
My Voluptuous with Radical Wawa, and of course with our very, very interesting, extraordinary guest for the hour, Mr. Michael Lee McDonald, the activist, the law reformer, the politician, my friend, father of 2 loving kids, and we are on a roll. We still have one topic we haven't discussed, and this is what we call the criminal reforms or criminal law reforms that are happening right now in the city or even worldwide, right?
Yeah.
What about it, Mike? I mean, like, why are you fired up with this criminal law?
There's so much more. After being, you know what? If you don't experience the system, you would never know what's going on behind these closed doors. And I was so shocked. I mean, to go to jail for 6 months. Not be able to see my children, but it's just the process. I mean, you know what they do? they put you in a fish tank, it's called. Like the very first time when you go into intake, they put you in this place, like 20, 30 other guys in this little room.
You're talking about when they already handcuff you outside, like for example, they arrest you. To be honest, I'm one of those that, I'm sorry, Mr. Cop or Mr. Policeman, but I'm really scared of uniformed men, to be honest. And I don't know why. It's just my personal experiences. I'm like, when I see them, oh yeah, they're dashing, they're handsome, but now not in uniform. So when they catch you on the street or whatever, they arrest you.
And they can arrest you for almost any reason.
And they say they spill. You say they spill, like you have the right to remain silent, right?
But we still have a system that you're guilty till proven innocent. I mean, they should not be able to arrest you, keep you in jail if you don't take a plea deal. Let's say they give you an arraignment usually, and if you don't take a plea deal, they'll keep you in jail, either bail out or you have 20.
What is that 24-hour period, right? They arrest you. They put you in that fish tank.
They put you in a fish tank with all these other guys, and you can. You can't make a phone call, you can't do anything, and you have to sleep. Sometimes they do have a phone where you can call Bell's Bond.
Is it a mixed male, female,
no,
or they separate?
It's just male, yeah. Okay. But 20, 30 people, you have to sleep on a concrete floor, and they sleep deprive you. Sometimes they're past 24 hours. You stay in this fish tank, and these people have to go to court the next morning. So you're pretty much up all night for a day, almost 2 days.
That's with food, without food?
They give you some slop or a bag lunch. And they'll keep you. That's all you get to eat. They'll give you these bag lunches, and it's crazy. Where if you don't take that plea deal, you go in there and you just I'll take whatever it is. I'm so tired. They just want to go to sleep or get a bed. They don't give them a bed. They don't give them anywhere, and you're sleep deprived, and you have to go before the judge.
Which court is this? Which jail is this?
This is the city jail or the CCDC. It's called out here. The Clark County.
No, this is really strong revelation here.
And I'm telling you, I've never experienced this before, but to see the amount of it's just despotism of the courts, and it's a tyrannical government. They're filling up the jails with people and for profit. Now let me tell you, if you don't take these plea deals, they will.
What is a plea deal?
A plea deal is something that the DA and the public defender, they work out a deal.
So you're in. They put you in a fish tank. You have one phone call, right?
You have 1 to 3 phone calls that you can make.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes they'll be nice and give you some numbers off your phones. Who remembers numbers these days, you know? And that's all you get.
They take your phone, phone away from you. They'll take everything away from you, right?
Everything.
Because I know someone who got into jail and like, what the heck? I couldn't even call or message or anything. And I cannot message you at that time. I was like, oh, not in service or whatever.
No, they don't take. They take your phone completely. You can't get even. I mean, you're lucky if you can get numbers off it and make some phone call. Then you have to call Bell at Bell's Bondman and get. Sometimes you have couple $1,000s to bill out.
And the previous one, just the current one you had, actually it wasn't really a public announcement. I mean, our friend Steve Hansen, I'm sorry Steve, I mean I guess it's okay for you. We knew what happened to Michael because of the Facebook post that Steve Hansen put in. And he actually bravely put in how much of a bail you need to do.
It was $15,000 and 5 counts of wiretapping.
Just for wiretapping.
I mean, I don't even know what they're trying to charge me with. I mean, they put me in handcuffs. We were in rush hour traffic. I still have a feeling. I can't feel my thumb.
Was it outside your work or within your work?
It was outside. Okay. Yeah, as soon as I was going out to my car, I get put in handcuffs.
So many people probably saw it or something.
Hopefully not. But yeah, that's embarrassing too. I mean, come on, you get thrown in 8 officers. Anyway, I lost feeling in my thumb. Like it's tingling. I can't even feel it from the handcuffs that are on for so long.
Are they motionless or are they really like rough?
Oh, these cops, they don't care. They're just hired guns. They just do whatever they're told, you know. Like government dogs, they will put you. I mean, most of them are professional, but some of them. I mean, if you say the wrong thing or don't cooperate, you're already
shot.
To
keep quiet then.
Oh, I've seen people get shot, you know, or you don't follow their directions. I was just like, what the heck? So anyway, we go there. If you don't take these plea deals, they'll keep you in jail for over 21 days and await trial. So if you want to take it to trial, you either take this deal or else. And most people can't bail. The bail amounts are crazy. You should not. You know what bail is for, right?
Yeah.
It's for so you'll have to come back to court. Most people will come back to court if they're told to do that. You know what I mean?
And they cannot afford it. It's so expensive.
Oh,
it's like it takes a miracle for you to be bailed out.
So most people have to either take a plea deal or wait trial. So the plea deals are like, oh well, you'll get 60 days or you'll get this. I mean, people are taking plea deals. You lose your appellate rights if you take a plea deal.
What is that? What rights are that?
To appeal the decision.
Appeal the decision.
Yeah, you say I accept this and I can't appeal it. So, and it's almost under duress, and it's a torture. It's a form of torture to keep somebody up for over 24 hours and in front of a judge. So anyway, when you go to jail though, they will charge you. They'll purposely starve you. They'll feed you bologna, barely any food. I lost about 20, 30 pounds while I was in there.
Like in 24 hours. Yeah.
Well, not just 24 hours. Well, for the 6 months, let me tell you.
The 6 months.
I spent over $3,000, $4,000. It was 25 cents a minute for a phone call. $1.20 for a ramen soup. You can pay up to $50 a week and get.
What, I mean, you can buy your own food within the jail?
You can buy only a certain amount
Oh
of
my goodness,
like
this is
chips
interesting.
and honey buns and ramen. And it's $1.20 for a ramen.
Is this like a secret situation happening inside the jail?
It's called the Kefi Network, and it's a for-profit network.
Cafe network.
No, Kefi, yeah.
Coffee, yeah.
And everybody wants coffee in jail. It's like $4 a bag of coffee, $4 to $5 a bag. And for them, these people are coming off of drugs, and coffee is what's traded. They put a little baggies and they trade it out like or something.
Oh
but it's so jacked up.
It's so revealing.
I mean, I could tell you all kinds of stories about it, but it's so, to profit off of these downtrodden people is ridiculous. 25 cents a minute, who can afford that? I mean, to spend that much money. And they've purposely filled these jails. Let me tell you, a majority of them were domestic violence. There's a thing called the VAWA Act, the Violence Against Women Act of 1994. Mm-hmm. Most people don't want to hurt their women or their spouse or women or men, and then people will get in fights. We're all human. Right, but even if the neighbors get called out on you and the police have to show up, they will take somebody to jail. It doesn't matter. It used to be a 24-hour cool-up period where they say you go somewhere else, you have to spend the night. But the people were coming back and offing their exes or fighting.
Oh
so that now it's so strict that they'll throw you in jail for any reason, and the state will pick it up even if you don't want to press charges. So there's no marks; they'll still take you.
And this is supposed to be America, and this has become so barbaric, and it's become so like. I don't even know how to define it with this revelation.
It feels like Nazi Germany or something. It's ridiculous. Like I mean, you think we're the land of the free, yet we have 25% of the world's incarcerated rate. Yeah. So and our prisons are being completely filled with jail. They're low petty crimes. You know what I mean? They're little people are doing drugs and getting thrown to jail for years.
Do you think there's drug trafficking within the jail?
Oh, let me tell you, I've seen drugs in jail. They would bring drug dogs. There's people smoking marijuana in the showers, and they sneak drugs in there. There's outside.
There's nothing really different in there, and there's so much injustice, and there's so much I can't even define how you.
Let me tell you, we had 6 people in one little cell, and we were all crunched up, and people were fighting, and
there's
you
too
fight.
I see movies. That's all movies. Don't see reality inside the jail.
We even had a fire in jail, and almost left us in there. It was crazy. Yeah, I could tell you. Like I said, I got all kinds of crazy stories about that.
Do you have to be in some kind of a group or a group of people they all protect themselves?
But they keep you in this little cell. The majority of the day, you have like an hour to free time or an hour, a couple.
Oh my God.
But to feed you, it's a horrible experience, and to see that our people suffering that way. And after that, I read this book called The Purpose-Driven Life in Jail. I probably read about 100 books.
I read that book.
It's a good one.
Wow, it's like. Yeah. Read one of the most powerful books and you can ever read, and that's The Purpose-Driven Life.
Well, after reading that, I had 6 months to say, hey, how can I help reform the criminal system, the family court system, and the criminal law system, and to see the amount of suffering. God does not want His people to suffer this. I mean, some people, they might deserve to be in there. You're violent crimes or something, but most people are good. I really feel that, and people make mistakes. You should have. If people make mistakes, they shouldn't be thrown in jail. It should be about reformation, not about punishment.
And talking about that, since we've been talking for like 3 segments in a row, talking about who is Michael J. McDonald. What motivates Michael J. McDonald? Michael Lee McDonald. I'm sorry.
Yeah, J. McDonald.
Oh my God.
I used to get his mail to City.
I'm so sorry about that.
He's ex-councilman.
Michael Lee McDonald. What motivates Michael right now? In terms of like.
Well, one thing, I haven't seen my kids in over almost a year and a half, and that's one thing I don't want anybody else to have to suffer. Let's say my son has an addictive ex and doesn't want him to see his children. I don't get to see my own grandkids. This is far-reaching, and you don't just separate your parents from them. You separate your whole other side. My grandparents, the cousins, the uncles. I mean, your whole other side. I have uncles in New York. I've got a big family in New York. I've never met. And it's so sad when you get alienated from your whole other side of your family. So it's causing a ripple effect, and then to put people through this despotism of the court. We fought England for our country was formed for freedom. Yet we are enslaving our own people with the law. And the laws, there's so many laws.
We say something and we don't do it the way it is should be done.
Yeah. But there's so many laws in the books. No one man can know all the laws. I mean, there's in jail. There's a joke. There's a law of interrupting the flight of a pigeon, and there's or defacing a hamburger. If you take a pickle and throw it on the ground, you can get in jail for that. I mean, there's any crime. Attempted jaywalking. How do you do that? Wait, you put a foot.
What in one line?
No, there was like 3 or 4 people in jail for attempted jaywalking. They must have.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
I'm serious. Like attempted jaywalking. Like what the heck? So they could throw you if the cops stop you.
What about loitering? Like you loiter in the parks
yeah.
and like those homeless people, and there's probably some areas here in the U.S. or in our city that like when they catch you loitering in the park, they'll just
the amount of homeless people in there. But think about it. Why are all these people homeless? They don't have families. The root cause of this is the breakdown of our family unit. I truly believe if we had a bigger, stronger family unit, we got rid of this family court that's completely stripping good parents loving parents from their own children, we wouldn't have these issues. Mm-hmm. And this is the root cause. Look at all the homeless we have. We have a big homeless problem.
We do. And you know what? You have. When I say my people, I'm an immigrant and I'm an Asian American. I'm also a Pacific Islander. I mean, it breaks my heart to see Asian people. You know, from my own perspective as an Asian person, to see them on the streets and all, like they could just be tilling their own lands in the Philippines.
Well,
and then all of a sudden they're homeless here. They're nothing to eat and all that.
I see that a lot. A lot of Philippines and Samoans too. Like Hawaii. Yeah. Like we're supposed to be the 10th island.
And it's so sad because sometimes there's like a stereotyping that homeless people can be into drugs also and all those. But everybody deserves a second chance. You don't take people like that only. You have to look at the other side of that person. And then I'm kind of also thinking about this. So now, what can we expect from Michael Lee McDonald as a politician, Mike? I mean, like, how do you look at, how do you want people to recognize you if elected as Assemblyman in District 12?
We've reached the age of live streaming on social media shows. You may ask, we're already ahead of the curve, so why do you need to advertise with us? Well, only 8% of the businesses in the US are using digital advertising to grow their business. That's 2 percentage points short of reaching critical lead to faster results. We have 20 plus shows with a reach of over 80,000. We'll give you commercial ads, website link, and connections to nonprofit organizations. So get your brand ready for digital monetization, for we are looking for sponsors, which will bring more traffic to your business and ultimately mean more sales. So let's bring the world to you. Inquire now.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York. So his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provides.
Now, if you join VIP-vacation-club.com and select you want to be a platinum member or gold member, and then you email me back at allpros, ALLPROWS @gmail.com, and I will give you $100 back. whatever package you choose what you want, you choose the vacations you want to take. Once again, you get to choose your own vacations, you get to choose when and where in the world you want to go, and who do you want to bring with you. And I personally will give you $100 back on your membership. Get VIP-vacation-club.com.
Then I'm kind of also thinking about this. So now, what can we expect from Michael Lee McDonald as a politician, Mike? I mean, like, how do you look at, how do you want people to recognize you if elected as Assemblyman in District 20?
Well, I'm running on the Family and Criminal Law Reform platform. I have a political action committee called the Committee for Family and Criminal Law Reform. I'm helping other candidates get elected as well. If elected, I'm going to put in legislation to help change, to put equal parenting as a set standard. That'll cut down 70% of litigation. To change the DV laws to where it's a high set standard of what you can do to go to jail. And if you don't want to press charges on somebody, you shouldn't be able to.
How powerful is this is what I want to ask you, and I want you to educate the people who doesn't even know exactly what an assemblyman does to Nevada or to the city. Like, we are all voters. Sometimes they don't vote because they don't say, oh, okay, what's an assemblyman? Different from this type of post in the government. So what does an assemblyman exactly do for the city or for Nevada?
So the assemblyman, so there's the lower house and the upper house. The assembly is the lower house, which is a representative for each region of the Nevada, right? And now the Senate is the upper house. So you can pass, each assembly person can put in, I believe it's up to 10 LCBs. It's a legislative council body. It's a bill, so you can put in 10 bills a year, or a session.
So 10 bills.
Yeah, so you can get them approved or passed. You can get them co-sponsored with other politicians, other assembly.
What does it take to be approved?
So the approval process is it has to get approved in the assembly, then it has to go to the Senate, and then
how many people are in the assembly?
There's 45.
You need a majority of that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we have. So we have the assembly, then it goes to the Senate, then it goes to the governor to be signed as a bill. So once it's signed, then it gets put into law and it's codified into our statute. So we can change a lot of laws. A lot of our laws are super antiquated. Like, they haven't been looked at for years.
So right now you're like he is one lucky guy, ladies and gentlemen, because he doesn't go into primaries anymore. He's a Republican, but he doesn't go into primary. He goes all the way to the general election, right?
Yeah, I'm just against one other pretty much one other candidate. So I don't have a primary election, so I'm going straight. So pretty much 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
So I have a good chance of getting up there and actually making a difference. But it's a lot. There's so many people. I really believe I could do some good, but I have a lot of other friends that are going to be up there that are supporting family and criminal law reform.
So you said 10 bills. So you have an idea of what you have already structured yourself to, like, this 10 bills. What are these 10 bills that you want to put in?
So I've got a couple that are going to change some, like the one for AB 263. I'm going to amend that. We're going to amend the DV laws. We're going to amend some of and these bills would.
DV is domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Yeah, we'll have to. It's going to change the wording on it. So those are what these bills are going to do, and it's going to affect a lot of people. Well, also the tax reform. When I worked at the city of Las Vegas, and the amount of taxation and I worked in the planning and business licensing. Okay. And these poor business owners are getting taxed to the hills. You know what I mean? Just to try to run a business. And to make a house or to do something, they have to go through so much red tape.
And these are not huge business owners. They're the small, probably mostly the small business owners.
Small, medium. But there's so many issues, and I have a lot of experience. Where I used to do consulting for all these small, large businesses as well. But if I get elected, I have a very good idea of a bunch of bills that I want to help put in. The child support law, I mean, I could go off on a bunch of different things. Yeah, the criminal law, we should get rid of bails or get rid of bail amounts. We should go to do a high. There should be a judicial discipline committee, or a new one, not just the one that we have, a citizens committee that holds the judges and attorneys accountable. Somewhere you can call. You're getting completely hosed in the system. They should get family law out of the court system, in my opinion, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. What's another bill I was going to try to put in? Another bill. Get this. So for anybody that sentenced people to jail, judges, attorneys, cops, anybody that can sentence somebody, they have to go through that whole experience, a whole weekend, where they go through the strip search, the food, and they see what they're sentencing people to. Maybe they'll have empathy to see what, and they'll figure out alternatives. Because I mean, it devastates people's lives where they lose their jobs, they lose their house, they lose their kids, and all for what? How is that going to make somebody better by throwing them in jail? Yeah. And the jail's profiting almost $200 per inmate per day. So it incentivizes to fill.
So there's
up
like
jails.
a business within the jail system.
Oh yeah, and they're getting budgets. The city and the governmental agencies are getting budgets to fill up these jails. It's a for-profit system, and it's so crazy. I mean, and it's off the most vulnerable people. I mean, the people that are really suffering, and they can just charge them all these fees, get bench warrants, and it's so much. I've never seen such tyranny from our own government. The land of the free. We are not free. I'm telling you. That's why we need to change these laws and look at the laws that aren't working or enslaving people. Get rid of it. Title 4D. We got to get rid of that. For a for-profit system to help strip children from their family. No, you should do about more in parental involvement. Get people involved. And the people that don't want to be involved in their children's lives, maybe they should pay child support, but don't throw them in jail or take.
And you're talking about not just call this one residents in general, but everybody now, including immigrants too. We're not discussing immigration right now in terms of like immigration, but this covers everybody. There's nobody that's not involved with all the reforms that Mike's telling us. Whoa, what a very revealing night. But before we end, a lot, and you'll see more of Michael Lee McDonald, but for pretty much, hopefully this will spin off to a show for himself. But before we end, Mike, what is, I'd like to ask two more questions, I guess, to end up our interview.
Sure.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to at least give you the stage and the spotlight to talk about what you fight about as a person, as a politician, as a law reformer. And I know it's not so huge as that. This is not a huge show, but I know it will really, really kind of create a ripple and probably a wake up call, or probably very informative to those who are watching. So what is in the heart of Michael Lee McDonald right now? What is your how do you see yourself 5 years from now, maybe?
Well, 5 years, I hope to have my children back and seeing them every weekend.
Oh, definitely before that.
Right now I have no clue when I'm going to see my children. I have a court date coming up, but it's so sad when so many people are suffering not be able to see their kids. I love my children, and to take my kids away from me is just something that's passion that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. This should not be happening. To see the amount of suffering, I mean, it reminds me of something out of the Bible, like something in Moses. Remember, his people were being oppressed by Pharaoh, and they were being enslaved. Let my people go. To see the downtrodden of society get thrown in jail, and to be this for-profit system, it's something that I'm going to be an advocate for the rest of my life. And I hope that a lot of people will follow and see what's going on and open their eyes and help change it. We the people can go and affect this change. I mean, there's something to help freedom, help bring families together. I really think that restoring our family unit is the top priority of America, and I think that because of all the root causes of society's issues, if this gets fixed, I think it will have a profound effect on not just here in Nevada, but through our nation. So
very powerful. I was hearing 3 points there. Let my people go, and then it's totally liberating to hear those words from Michael Lee McDonald. And he's not just one advocate. There's a lot of people. I'll be guesting a lot more people hearing and talking about parental reforms or parental alienation. I'm so proud of this topic. I'm still new at it. I'm learning it, but I'm really really into it right now. I'm actually working hand in hand with Michael in terms of that goal and that vision.
Well, thanks for bringing awareness to it.
I am very happy. And my show is all about awareness, all about being raw, being unfiltered, and being liberating and very empowering to those who doesn't know things and topics like this, where some people are afraid to air it out and even to voice out, and to even guest persons like you who are like, here I am here to talk about the truth.
I mean, I can't believe it's happening to me. I mean, I'm one of the squares to squares or whatever you want to call it.
And I'm really proud of you. I was just kidding that like you did not make it to last show, and I'm revealing intention today that even if we didn't have that show last week, it's more actually equally liberating and equally more powerful than not having you last week than now. So congratulations! I congratulate you to be a very powerful man on your own, and of course, good luck. I'll be seeing your victory and the victory of those who fight against parental alienation and parental reforms and criminal law reforms. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has again ended us for the episode from My Voluptuous Life. I will see you again next week. And like what I told you, if you will love more than enough, you will be the most powerful human being on earth. Bye. We'll see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, check it. Tried to build a bridge, instead I burned it down. Oh, I tried to lift them up, but found me beaten down to the ground. I was too weak to face my pain, caught up in the flood that was my rain. We both moved on, but my heart remains there. Oh, what I put you through.
Social media shows
is about
branding, opportunity,
and outreach.
We are an entertainment company that empowers others
by promoting and supporting our community
and everyone who reaches our content.
Here on social media shows,
here we're a family.
We are family.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, sing. We are family.
We are family.
We are family. We are family.
We are family.
We are family, and we want you to be part of our social media shows family.
Voluptuous life. Oh my God, we're really warming up with the issues that we're about to talk about, and I'm with the man of the hour, Michael Lee McDonald, not Michael J. McDonald, but Michael Lee McDonald. Woo, Mike, we're getting into the most important topics that we need to discuss. We were talking about you as a young Michael, transitioned from another state, going back to Vegas, your high school life, who is Michael as a high school student. You were actually a leader already when you were younger, and it shows. And now, ladies and gentlemen who just tuned in, I would like to say hi, by the way. I saw a couple of people that are very special to me is tuning in right now. To Tita Josie Harrison, hi, thank you for watching us. And to Dr. J. Tan, of course. I invited a couple of people to watch us because this episode actually is very, very important for me. It's going to be really liberating and really very informative. So this segment will talk about what Michael D. McDonald's fighting about, why he is in politics, and why? How did it start, Mike? I mean, what made you go into politics? Was it like a dream coming, or was it a person that motivated you? Was it like a situation?
Well, let me tell you, my mom's side of the family was in politics for a while, so we'd always go to their re-election campaigns. Or my grandpa was a constable out here, and he ran for office. My uncle was a judge out here, and so was my cousin. And my uncle's a famous judge. He did the Danish trial and stuff. And my cousin did the O.J. Simpson arraignment and stuff. But
your cousin?
Yeah.
What was the name?
Joe Bonaventure, yeah.
Because when you say that name, I'm like, oh, okay, this man is with O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I saw that side, and I saw a lot of the political aspects of things, and I thought maybe one day, I might get into it if so called. So, but yeah, what really got me started is after I went through a terrible divorce.
Was it a year ago or?
It's been ongoing since 2015. I mean,
wow, and it's like almost 3 years now.
Almost 3 years, yeah. That's where I got all the gray hairs from the divorce. Yeah, so.
In your 30s, that may be something. It's just out of stress of all these things are happening to you. Yes.
It's been a crazy story. I mean, I went through so many things with this divorce. I mean, you think that you have equal rights to your own children, but if there's any reason they can take it from any kind of allegations or anything, if you have a vindictive ex, they can take your kids from you. I mean, I have a crazy story. I mean, I had my kids every weekend for a year. And
when was the last time you saw your kids?
Last time I saw my kids was Christmas of 2016.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for a woman. I'm not so gender specific, but it must be really revealing for a man to have that kind of emotion and kind of yearning to have no kids. I mean, you haven't seen your kids.
Well, let me tell you, Lynn, my kids were my life. I was their coach. I love them. I teach them. I don't just put them in front of the iPad or TV. We play with them. I teach them things. I taught my son how to swim at 1.5 years. My daughter too, and I taught them how to. Their alphabet and their reading and writing. I was very involved.
And how old are they now?
3 and 6, and not be able to see them for a year. They probably.
Was there ever a time they asked why is mom and dad separated, or why can't we see you, Dad?
I think they understand. Kids are pretty smart, but not. I don't know what she's telling you. I mean, for 1.5 years, it's ridiculous. I had them every weekend for a year, and we'd always have fun, go to the parks. And then I went to trial, and my attorney didn't show up.
Let's go back. I have a confession to make. This is no longer. I was like joking a few segments ago because Michael was supposed to show up in my show last Thursday night, and he's a very good friend of mine. He has become a very good friend of mine. And then all of a sudden, I was like, okay, I'm on my way. He sent me his bio, and and all of a sudden, where is Michael J. McDonald? Where's Mike? I mean, he is not the flaky Mike. He's not ever a flaky Mike. He would always talk and say, we arranged everything that he'll be here a week ago, and we will talk about him, his profile, all his reforms. And all of a sudden I couldn't find him, and he said with permission tonight to tell his story, he was actually arrested in his workplace. And you can tell me more about that.
Yeah,
and this is the second time, right?
And this is what stems from all that. I had no criminal record. I never went to jail or anything like that before, but around the same time after I can tell you, I went to, I had my kids every weekend, and my attorney, the judge ended up saying, oh, you keep me up at night, I'm going to punish you for a tracking device. I worked at a tracking device company. I was an IT manager, and it was company policy to be on both vehicles. And the judge said, you keep me up at night, I'm going to punish you, you can't see your kids this weekend. Then they found out that my attorney blew his brains out. And after that, I got completely hooked. I didn't see my own kids for like 9
But
years.
what's more disheartening is what happened to him. That was the time I didn't know him yet. That was the time when they put you in jail too.
I went to jail for 6 months for trying to
what reason was that?
Trying to call my own kids. 179 days.
Can you tell us exactly what happened on that one?
So I had contradictory orders saying that after my attorney shot himself, the judge put in. Said the judge granted a TPO and extended it for a whole year. Said I can't have any contact with my ex. But then she put in other orders on the divorce decree a few months later after she went on maternity leave, and she said you can have reasonable phone conversation with kids. You can go to the kids' school every other weekend. The TPO says I can't go to the school. I'm supposed to. I can't be 100 yards near her school yet. My daughter's daycare is 100 yards. So anyway, she ended up going and putting. Ended up calling me from a number. Give me more money. I'll let you talk to the kids. I call her back. She said.
Is she still harassing you right now in terms of phone
I
calls?
believe that's the reason why I went to jail the other day. I don't know if she did it or Metro.
Because you're not supposed to communicate with this woman.
And I've been staying very far from her, but I went to jail for 6 months from January 2017 till June of.
That must be so disheartening that
Lynn, we'll have to do another segment on the horrors of jail and the criminal justice system because it's insane what's going on there. If you don't take a plea deal, they'll force you to stay in jail or bail out. Most people can't afford bail. And then they'll point you.
And what was? Can you tell us exactly how much was your bail for the first jail?
The very first time I went to jail, it was for I had a bench warrant issued for my arrest. I got a little card in the mail that said I had a bench warrant. No hearing, no trial, no evidence.
Is this the same judge before and now?
No, it went to municipal court judge, Judge Almasi, who's not on the bench anymore. But this bench card warrant came in the mail. I had to go to a business trip to Canada. I'm like, okay, well, I need to get this taken care of because if I leave the country, I might go to jail. So I went to go try to quash it myself. I went to the courthouse and they said, oh, you got to go see the judge. So I go upstairs and go see the judge. Yeah. And I have this motion to quash. The marshals put me in handcuffs, and that was the very first time I went to jail. I ended up taking a plea deal on going to. They got me for. Going to the church, violating protective order. So I went to the church after 60 days not seeing my son. I went to the church. It's separate from the church. It's a daycare. And I went over there and I saw my son. Daddy loves you. I didn't abandon you. And they wouldn't let me see my daughter. I ended up leaving and she called the cops. And that was the first time. I then took a plea deal for that where they gave me 179 days suspended. So which I didn't know at the time is that I just took that plea deal. When I made that phone call back to her after she called me, made me call her back, that's when she said, I'm recording this. I said, I don't consent. And then on Veterans Day.
That is something you need to tell someone when it's
and make sure if you ever do record, you have to say that this is being recorded and both parties have to consent. It's a two-party state in Nevada, which I wasn't too sure. But anyway, I said I did not consent. She still was able to use that to get me 179 days. She also, on Veterans Day of 2016, said, come to my parents' house in November. I'm not there. Come pick up the kids. I show up. She wouldn't follow the court to do it in the parking lot. I show up, and she's there. She calls. I get my daughter in my arm, a backpack with another arm, and she won't give me my son. I end up leaving. They call the cops on me. I leave. The police called me and say, you violated the protective order, and she said you pushed her. I never touched her at all. And then
is it like a very unjust system? Like sometimes I'm a woman, but I'm very, very straightforward. Does it sometimes they usually say, oh, the woman has to have the rights instead of the males? I mean,
the domestic violence is so big, anything can constitute domestic violence.
And we're talking about that reform that you're right now fighting for, which is parental reforms. Can you shed light on this one and tell our viewers about it? I mean, not everybody's aware of that, but it is actually a huge problem.
The TPOs and the DV?
Yes, and regarding the parental reforms that are court
system. So let me tell you some of that. But anyway, that's what happened in my story, and the parental rights stuff. That this is what's going on in America. We have an adversarial court process that's a $70 billion industry. There's more money in family court than all the courts combined. And once these attorneys go and you have to file an FDF, which is a financial disclosure form. The lawyers know exactly how much they bleed you, and they purposely cause as much contention as they can to make both parties fight. And then they purposely separate you so you can't have any communication with your ex. Now Nevada is the #1 for domestic violence, and there's a
how many percent or how many out of 10?
A lot of deaths were occurring because they would go And that's why it used to be a 24-hour cool-off period and stuff, but now they arrest you for any reason.
And I'm sorry, that domestic violence is not just for males, but also for females, right?
Yeah, it is for females, but there's a big stigma on mostly men. Yeah, I mean there's a perceived bias there that women don't abuse men, and it does, it occurs too. But one thing that's really jacked up is even if you don't want to press charges on your spouse or whoever your person that you live with, the state will pick it up and purposely charge you with it. And then you're in endless litigation. You have to pay all these fines. You lose your gun rights for 7 years if you get a domestic violence situation. In my situation, the judge threw the book at me. 52 domestic violence cases, GPS monitoring for 6 months. She had a domestic violence advocate, and they.
And how do you prove this situation?
And Linda, they had no evidence. There's no bruises, nothing. And her parents collaborated it. They said, "Oh yeah, he pushed her." They didn't even say.
Oh wow! So you can just ask somebody, "Hey, you tell this this judge or this
false witness." Yeah, and that's all. There's no evidence or anything. And if there's a high scissor, you beat the crap out of this, so yeah, maybe you should go to jail. But for no evidence, nothing. I go there. I got an ankle bracelet on for 6 months. I was the first person in the White House with an ankle bracelet. Because as soon as I got out of jail, I went and lobbied for equal parenting. That's one thing we need to have. In Nevada, we have a thing called, there's a law passed called AB.263, which is
what does it say?
Is joint is a presumption in the custody battles. But you're already guilty till proven innocent. So you go to court, you're on unequal footing, especially when there's a biasness against men can't raise women or men can't raise children the same as a woman. So you go into court, you're already guilty. You have to prove that you're a good father or something. And there's no fitness test. There should be a high set standard of what you can do to lose your own children. You should have God-given unalienable rights. So I went to D.C. after I got out. I went to the Million Parent March, and I met people from across the country that have been affected by this.
So this is not just a few people on the planet or in the country, but it's a nationwide.
I mean, not just nationwide. It's worldwide actually.
Oh, okay.
It's occurring throughout the world. They're using the family court and people in these unfortunate circumstances to prey on them and when you have your children is your the most valuable thing that you have, that possession you can have, right, is your children, and they prey on that. They'll make you pay every dime you have. And I know people paying $100,000 to bring it to the Supreme Court to see their own children. So I went to and lobbied in Congress. I went to the House and the Senate. I went to almost every state, and especially the ones on the judicial committees and stuff, and passed out literature and stuff about what the effects are of parental alienation and pathogenic parenting. And we now have a bill called HJ 121 for a constitutional amendment for equal parenting. So if this gets passed, it'll set a federal law for equality. So I'm praying that it helps get put in, and I was very, very thankful for that to be put in, and I hope that goes. But we should not be having these all-out battles. I mean, kids. It's been proven that one of the root causes of all the society's issues, anxiety, depression, mental illness, criminal history, drug use, teen pregnancy, mass shootings, all occurring because there's children that don't have they don't have parents there, and a lot of it's because of the
is government even supportive of this? Programs of like federal and everything? Are there programs that are really supporting this?
Well, let me tell you, Lynn, there's a thing called Title 4D with the Social Security Act. For every dollar that's collected in child support, it's a federal matching program that fund the Department of Family Services. So they purposely strip children from their parents, and then the government's profiting on it. So there's so much money going into it. And if you don't pay your child support, there's a thing called Title 42, Section 666.
Take note of that.
It's a Child Support Enforcement Act, so they can throw people in debtor's prison for not paying child support. They can take your license away. How are you supposed to go to work and pay your child or take care of your children or yourself? And then they also take away your passport. It's such this system is in dire need of reform. And if we don't do it, our children are going to be affected. And if you look at there's even an ACE study that shows that it's called adverse childhood experiences, and this is one of the root causes of why people have the amount of issues they do. It was actually from an obesity study that they had, and they found out that the root cause was all these parents were separated from their children. They didn't have their fathers, they didn't have their mothers, and it's causing all these issues. Our homelessness, our mental ill, our suicide rates. I mean, over 22 days.
It's just an improvement in statistics that causes like that. In Nevada, or let's go small scale. In Las Vegas, we can say, I know there are a lot of politicians, there are a lot of civil persons that you get involved in this kind of reforms. But who are the top five well-known advocates of this parental reform?
Nationwide,
excluding you
or in
because
Vegas?
you're already in Vegas for now.
Well, in Vegas, we have a group of people that. So I'm part of the Nevada Fathers' Rights Movement, the Family Civil Liberties Union, Veterans in Politics. They've been very instrumental.
That's Steve Sanson.
Steve Sanson, yeah, he's been awesome, and I've been partnered with him to help bring out the corruption and things.
Then you met Steve also because of your
yeah, actually, I met him coming out of jail. Actually, yeah, he came. Arthur Terbellion, he's been an awesome advocate. I actually get this. My very first day I went to family court, I see somebody outside protesting for father's rights and veterans' rights, and it was Linda Marquis. I was like, great, my judge is being. I'm like, oh, maybe I should get a different judge.
And let me correct
it's an ominous sign.
Yeah, we're not only talking about fathers here. To those who are watching, if you're also a mother as a victim of that, you can actually voice out your opinions or anything or any messages to us. Mike is here ready to answer questions if you have anything to say about the parental reforms and criminal law reforms or child support, for that matter. And even if you're off air and you see this after the live, you can message us regarding that matter.
So Lynn, I've been talking to, I know a bunch of people here in Vegas that are being affected by this, and I run across people every day. I was helping a lot of family courts. I go down there a lot, and I hear these stories. These heartbreaking stories. It's soul ripping when you can't see your own children. These people have PTSD from legal abuse. The abuse of the system on them. They take your houses, your property, your kids. It's ridiculous. I could tell you all kinds of stories that people have been alienated for years, or they're getting supervised visits where they have somebody watch you with a clipboard. They put them in jail for not paying child support or not following these.
And that's from the point of view of a male, a father, right? Yeah. What about the female? Have you heard? What are stories that you've heard about? The mother. Like I know one friend of ours that I don't know if she wants to be mentioned. I know one who's Villa was one of her friends.
Luda's been a very instrumental piece in this too. She's been alienated from her son. And then try to label her. They should have joint custody, and now she's got every other weekend with her own child. And just they made up a bunch of things. Her ex put a recording device in there. So her and there's a bunch of women that have been affected by Raina Hughes. She's getting sanctioned next month up in Reno. As she's been if the litigant is prettier than her, she'll go and there's perceived biases. That's why there shouldn't be one person playing God with people's lives and their children's lives.
Wow, we're getting hot in here, or warmer in here with that topics and issues. There's one more segment ahead of us, and if you'd like to comment, you want to be on air with us for the last segment. We'll be talking deeply more into parental alienation, for that matter. That stuff, but we gotta face it. This is the raw and